He for the emperor. Hey, H as in honor, or E, value 5, is pronounced hey. It means window, literally a wind door. A window admits light, knowledge, and air, the life breath or spirit, into the house, which is Beth, of personality. It also permits outlook, survey, supervision, control, and so on. Architecturally, windows are derived from doors. Furthermore, since they permit a survey of persons approaching a house, they enable the inhabitants of the house to decide whether to open the door to admit friends or to bar it against enemies. The most important thing about a window is transparency, and this takes us back to the mode of consciousness attributed to the magician. Sight is the sense function attributed by Kabbalists to the letter He. Vision, inspection, reconnaissance, watchfulness, care, vigilance, examination, calculation, analysis, induction, inquiry, investigation, and the like are all associated in language. All depend largely on the sense of sight. Thus, we may expect to find the mode of consciousness associated with this letter one which is active in this kind of mental operation. Constituting intelligence is the name given it in the Hebrew wisdom, and it is said to constitute creation in the darkness of the world. To constitute is to make anything what it is, to frame, to compose. Constitution is closely related to authorship. The author of anything is its producer, originator, inventor, founder, begetter, generator, architect, and builder. Authorship is therefore closely connected in our thought with paternity, and paternal authority depends on the fact that the father is head and founder of the family. In this connection, it is interesting to find that the letter He is employed in Hebrew precisely as we use the English definite article the. The constituting intelligence is the defining consciousness. This shows us, first of all, that the constituting intelligence must be a variant of self-conscious mental activity, because to define anything is to name it, and we have already associated self-consciousness with Adam, the namer. Definition, moreover, limits, sets boundaries, circumscribes. It specializes, particularizes, enters into detail, makes distinctions. The qualities thus indicated are precisely those which enter into the making of a constitution for any form of society, and that constitution is the basic law and supreme authority for its particular social organization. Thus the letter He, as the definite article, implies regulation, order, law, and all related ideas. Laws are definitions, and it should always be borne in mind that what we call laws of nature are simply definitions or descriptions of a sequence of events in some particular field of human observation. What is even more important for the occultist and the psychologist is that our personal definitions of the meaning of our experiences constitute suggestions which are accepted without reservation by our subconsciousness. Thus, in a sense, every man makes his own law, writes the constitution of his own personal world, and finds that his life experience is the reproduction of that constitution through the working of subconscious responses. He is the first of the 12 simple letters of the Hebrew alphabet, so called because each has but a single pronunciation. To it is attributed the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, the ram. Aries is a fiery cardinal sign. It governs the head and face. It is ruled by Mars, significant of force, strength, energy, courage, and activity. Mars rules iron, steel, surgery, chemistry, and military affairs. In Aries, the sun is exalted or raised to its highest level of power. The sun has to do with health and vitality. It is the significator of high office and of positions of rank and title, so that it represents rulership and authority. It also stands for the ego or individuality in one's natal horoscope. Its metal is gold. Aries is a scientific and philosophical sign, and this agrees with what has been said concerning the constituting intelligence. Inasmuch as both science and philosophy have accurate definition as their basis, astrologers say Aries represents rulership, government, guidance, and leadership. The color corresponding to Aries is scarlet. The musical tone is C natural. Northeast is the direction attributed to He. These directions are given in the Book of Formation and have to do with a very important esoteric teaching in which the manifested universe is represented as a cube, shown in occult diagrams with its western and southern faces visible to the observer. The 6 faces of this cube and its interior center are assigned to the 7 double letters of the alphabet. The 3 interior coordinates correspond to the 3 mother letters. The 12 boundary lines represent the 12 simple letters. Thus, of the letters already considered, Aleph corresponds to the line extending inside the cube, from the center of the upper face to the center of the bottom face, so that it is representative of pure spirit, superconsciousness, as the link between the superior and inferior manifestations of the life power. The letter Beth, corresponding to the direction above, is assigned to the upper face of the cube. That's the magician. Gimel, the high priestess, corresponding to the direction below, is assigned to the lower face. Daleth, the empress, corresponding to the direction east, is the rear face of the cube, shown in the accompanying diagram. The letter He, which we are now considering, is assigned to the vertical edge of the cube, which is the point of junction between the eastern and northern faces, connecting the northeast upper corner with the northeast lower corner. No more than hints of this cube symbolism can be given in this introductory text, but we have thought best to include the figure of the cube of space, since careful study will reveal to discerning readers many clues to a deeper understanding of the tarot symbolism. In tarot, the direction north, through the letter Pe, corresponds to key 16, the tower, analyzed in chapter 20, and east is, as we have said, represented in tarot by key 3, the Empress. Later on, it will be evident that the constituting intelligence combines the imagination and generation of ideas associated with the Empress, east, with the destruction of structures of air symbolized in tower by the lightning-struck tower, north. Accurate definition requires clear imagery, the Empress, and its application in action is always destructive to error, the tower. Note, furthermore, that the direction north is associated with Mars, the ruler of Aries, and that the direction east is associated with Venus. The title of key 4, the Emperor, means he who sets in order. And from what has been said, it will be seen to be peculiarly applicable to this picture. It implies both authority and paternity. It also represents the head of government, the source of war, the war-making power, and so on. These ideas are related to the sign Aries, and to Mars, and the Sun. They are ideas, moreover, which are in close correspondence to the meanings of the number 4, given in Chapter 2. The orange background in the upper part of the picture refers to the exaltation of the Sun in Aries, because orange is the color of key 19, the Sun, whose metal is gold. Below it are red mountains of igneous rock. Both in form and color, these refer to the fiery quality of Aries. Red is also the color of this sign, and of Mars, its ruler. These mountains in the distance are forbidding heights, in sharp contrast to the valley where the Empress sits. Barren, they represent vividly the sterility of mere supervision and regulation, unless there be something vitally warm and fruitful to set in order. On the other hand, it is the erosion of these barren rocks which provides the soil for the Empress's garden. Far below, at the base of the mountains, flows a river. This is the same stream of consciousness that begins in the robe of the High Priestess and waters the Empress's garden. On the Emperor's shoulder is a ram's head, and another is shown on the southern face of the cube whereon he sits. Thus, this second ram's head, combined with the face of the cube corresponding to south and to the Sun, suggests the exaltation of the Sun in Aries. Another intimation that this key represents Aries is the astrological symbol of this sign, shown as an ornament at the top of the Emperor's helmet-like crown. The monarch sits on a cubic stone, like that which is the seat of the High Priestess. This indicates that the mode of consciousness here symbolized has its seat or basis in laws of cosmic manifestation, which are at work in the mineral kingdom. A very few laws suffice for all the complex manifestations of the life power, and they are operative on low planes as well as on high. The metal parts of the Emperor's helmet-like crown are of gold, a further reference to the exaltation of the Sun in Aries. The shape of the crown suggests the conventional helmet of Mars, ruler of Aries. Underneath the crown is a red cap, the color of which refers both to Mars and Aries. The composition of the Emperor's figure deserves special mention. It is so drawn that the right hand, the left elbow, and the top of the head form the points of an equilateral triangle, while the legs suggest a cross. Thus, the basis of the composition is an equilateral triangle, surmounting a cross. This is the alchemical symbol for the fiery alchemical principle, sulfur, closely akin to the Rajas or Agni Tattva of yoga philosophy, and therefore related to the element of fire, predominant in the sign Aries. The Emperor is clad in steel armor. This further emphasizes his correspondence to the martial sign Aries, because iron and steel are the metals of Mars. The ornamental flaps of his garment are purple. This is the color of royalty. It is reference also to the planet Jupiter, represented in tarot by the Wheel of Fortune, because there is an occult relationship between 4, the number of the Emperor, and 10, the number of the Wheel of Fortune. We shall recur to this when we come to key 10. The yellow or gold scepter in the Emperor's right hand is a modified Venus symbol, another reference to the exaltation of the Sun in Aries. The scepter is also one form of the Egyptian Ankh, or sign of life. It means that the power of regulation is chiefly derived from the exaltation of solar energy in the sense of sight, and in the mental vision, which is the inner correspondence thereto. The globe in the monarch's left hand is the conventional symbol of dominion. It is red, color of Mars, and on it is an inverted gold T-square. The square is a symbol of the use of mathematics and geometry and planning. Because it is shaped like a letter T, it is in correspondence with Tav, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, to which the planet Saturn is assigned. What this hints is that the order and dominion exercised by the emperor bring about an inversion or reversal of the Saturnian power of limitation. Right definition is itself a sort of limitation, which sets us free from slavery to circumstances because it enables us, through right knowledge, to establish new boundaries, to enlarge our horizon. The emperor is an old man with a white beard, shown in profile. This is one marked divergence from the rider pack, which shows him full face. Dr. Waite registers his opinion that nothing particular signifies from showing the emperor in profile. Yet none of the older exoteric packs of tarot show him full face, nor does the unpublished esoteric version. The more recondite reasons for preferring the profile which shows only the left eye of the monarch have deep roots in Kabbalistic philosophy and symbolism, but they go far beyond the scope of the present volume. Enough to say that the present writer has been instructed in this Kabbalistic tradition and thinks it of sufficient importance to retain the older symbolism. For that matter, Dr. Waite had the same occult instruction, and must have known that Key 4's place on the Kabbalistic tree of life, through its connection with the letter He, makes the use of the profile symbolism, by which Kabbalists invariably represented the Ancient of Days, practically imperative for any representation of the emperor. The emperor is obviously the consort of the empress. He is, in fact, essentially identical with the magician, after the latter's union with the high priestess has transformed her into the empress and has made him the father of her children. It is on this account that the emperor follows the empress in the series. As the magician, he is only potentially a father, just as the high priestess is only a potential mother. After his consort has borne him children, the emperor has opportunity for actual exercise of his parental authority. In one sense, the emperor represents the grand architect of the universe, the Ancient of Days. He is the supreme nous, or reason, the constituting power, alike of the great world and of the little, of the universe and of man. Psychologically, therefore, he represents the self-consciousness of man, when its activities are engaged in the work of inductive reasoning, whereby errors arising from superficial interpretation of experience are overthrown. He is the definer, the lawgiver, the regulator. He is the ruling mental activity in human personality. He frames the constitution of your personal world.